Hi everyone! I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this video, I wanted to speak to you about being careful what you ask for because you might actually get it. And it kind of comes into my view because I was speaking to my sister, and one of her really good friends was telling her that she got fired recently. And, she was obviously very upset, my sister's friend. And she was telling, like, I've been working for them for a while and they just let me go and, things like that. But, in that moment, of course, my sister was listening and just commiserating with her friend. But in the back of her head, she knew that her friend, who had just been fired, had been complaining about that job for the last 2, 3, 4 years that she had known her, that she had been at the job. And every single day, she would say that she would be happy if she didn't have this job anymore because then she'd have some more time to do the things that she really wants to do. And recently, my sister's friend started doing this manifesting work where she constantly was writing down things that, like, if I didn't have this particular job, then I'd be able to do more of my writing, or I'd be able to use my savings to start my own business, things like that. So she was trying to manifest a new life for herself. Interestingly enough, the universe gave her exactly what she wanted, right? She was asking the universe for more time. Maybe she phrased it differently. Maybe she thought that it would manifest differently. Maybe she thought that she would get a different job, a better job, maybe a higher paying job, whatever it might be. But she was asking the universe that she wanted more time, that she did not want to be at this job anymore because she didn't like it. And then she received that gift from the universe. The universe gave her that gift. She got fired. And she got severance pay and everything, so at least she's not completely destitute. But instead of actually being like, oh, right, I was asking for this, I asked the universe that I don't want to be bound by this job anymore. So thank you, universe, for giving me what I asked for. She started complaining about it, crying, moaning, and all that. Maybe in hindsight, after a few months, she'll be able to look back and say, wow, this was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so glad that I lost that job because I started doing all these other things that I would have never tried if I had the job, so I'm really happy and thank you, universe. But at this moment in time, even though the universe has given her exactly what she asked for, she's not happy and she's complaining and she's upset. And of course, I'm sure you've heard about this as well in the past, that, be careful what you ask for because you might receive it. And a lot of times, what we imagine things to be like in our heads is not actually what it turns out to be like. I'll give you an example from my own life. I got this job, and I think you might have watched some of my videos where I was working and living on an island in Thailand. It was my dream job. It had been my dream job for years and years and years. I'd been waiting for this kind of job, and I was like, oh, I really want to work at this island. I love this resort. I want to be working here. I think it'd be the perfect job for me. I'm going to work here forever and ever. And so I manifested it, and I actually got the job. And I was working the job, and I realized as I worked the job and as I lived on the island that this was actually not for me at all. It was very stifling. It was very isolating and very lonely. And so, I realized obviously this is not for me. And I realized that maybe 6 months into it, because at first I was like, all right, this is brilliant. I can't believe I actually get to do this. I'm paid to live on this island, to live on this resort, and to do work for them. This is amazing, right? In the beginning, I was excited, ecstatic. I was so happy. And little by little, I realized, wow, okay, I'm grateful that the universe gave me this chance, because if I hadn't had this chance of working on that island, I would have forever and ever dreamt about it and thought about it and imagined what it would be like and, told myself, oh, that would be the best thing ever. I wish I could get that job, If I got that job, I'd be the happiest person in the world, things like that. And I was happy for a little bit of time until I realized that it wasn't actually for me. I wanted to live in the city. It's way too isolating. And the atmosphere wasn't that great, and the people I was working with weren't as I imagined them to be, obviously. We have these imaginations in our head. We imagine things to be a certain way, and they don't actually turn out that way. The main point of this is that, be careful what you ask for. And this is not just something that I've noticed in my own life or in my sister's friend's life. But a lot of my other friends as well have told me stories where, they wanted this one particular thing. They wanted it so badly, and they worked for it, and they asked for it, and they begged and pleaded God for it, or they try to manifest it in so many different ways. And then they finally got it, and then they finally got it, and they realized, right, this is not actually what I imagined it to be. In fact, it's completely different. It's not for me at all. And I don't know why I wasted so much time wanting it, or dying after it, or hankering after it. I noticed this a lot in relationships, actually. A lot of my girlfriends, when they're single, they're just so desperate to be in a relationship. And they're always like, I really want to be in a relationship. And I would do anything to be with a man. Or even, my guy friends are the same. And once they actually get into a relationship, all I hear from them are complaints about the person that they're dating. So it's kind of interesting that we think that we know what we want, and we imagine that we know what we want, and we actually get it after working really hard for it. And then we realize, that's actually not what I want, and I can't believe I was asking for that. And what is this? I don't even know myself. Like, how could I think that this would be useful for me, or this could be suitable for me? And knowing myself, if I go back to my example of living on that island, I know myself, and I know I'm a solitary introvert who likes to be on their own and doesn't want to be around too many people. But the job itself was extremely extroverted. It involved a lot of being around people and socializing and talking to people. And I don't know how I imagined that that would be something that I'd be suited for, right? I imagined that all of a sudden, because I was in this different place, that I would change. But of course, that's not how it works. And so I just want to kind of do this video because this might be something that's going on in your minds as well. We all have these ideas, these fantasy lands that we live in, where we imagine that, okay, if this happens, these three things happen, then my life would be absolutely perfect, and I would never have to complain about anything again, and I would have the most ideal life ever, and I thank God every day for what I have. And we imagine that that would be the case, but in a lot of cases, we actually get all those three things or more, because the universe is pretty generous, or I would say really generous, and we get it, and we realize, oh shoot, that's actually not what I wanted, or I didn't actually think through things, and actually this is not for me at all, right? And so I'm not saying that we shouldn't ask for things, of course. I mean, that's the whole point of being a human being, I think, is to constantly be striving for more, to ask for more, to be wanting more, to be more. But to realize that that's not going to be the end all of be all. Not to realize that, like, once you get that particular item, you're not going to be completely satisfied and sit there and say, yes, everything is done. I've gotten what I wanted. I'm completely fulfilled, completely satisfied. Everything's perfect, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to strive for anything. I don't want anything anymore, and I'm just going to be completely content. I think unless you get enlightened, which is a far off story, I think we're always going to be not dissatisfied, but discontented, I think. We're never going to be completely satisfied with what we have, because we're always looking towards the future. But also when we look towards the future, we realize even if I get that future, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be satisfied then. I'm always going to want more. I might get, like, for example, if you're the kind of person who wants more money, you might get $250,000 because that was your goal. But then you're like, well, it's not enough. I think I want 500,000. And then you kind of set that new goal, and then perhaps you get that. And again, you're like, well, I guess I've already gotten it. Maybe I could set a bigger goal. And you keep on doing this to yourself, because we can't just sit on our laurels. I don't think human beings are capable of doing that. Most human beings, many human beings, I should say. Some maybe are, but I find that most people are always wanting more, striving for more, and always dissatisfied with the present moment. Not necessarily a good thing, but just the way it is. But to realize that even if you're striving for something in the future, that doesn't mean that that particular thing is going to satisfy you. You might get it, and then you'll raise the bar again, or you'll realize that that actually is not what you wanted. And so just to be cognizant of that fact, and to not always be looking to the future, and realize that, all right, maybe that thing in the future will make me happy, maybe it won't. How about I just be happy right now, right? Like, just let me just choose happiness if possible in this moment in time, rather than always looking to that point in the future, that someday that will never arrive, or might arrive, and I'll not be satisfied even then, right? So I hope this makes sense. it made sense in my head when I was doing it, when I was doing the video. So I hope it made sense to you as well. Again, if you have questions about this, message me or comment below and I shall do a follow-up video. I'm really grateful to all of you who are supporting me and who are supporting me on Ko-fi. I am really grateful to all of you, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.